Assalamu alaikum dears. This is your Nazia ma'am. Hope you are doing good. Alhamdulillah. Good evening dears. So today we are going to see one more topic under our allied subject, literary forms and terms. So under that, yesterday we saw about essay, how the small definition of essay and what are the types of essay and how we can make our essay as a meaningful one, and what are the types, that is formal and informal essay. So everything we did yesterday. So today we are going to see about the next topic, short story. So everybody know what is short story. Definitely you might have studied in your plus 2, even in your 10th standard. So now we are going to see what is short story and how the writers have produced this short story in their way, and how the characters are played in the short story, what are all the importance of short story, and how it can be how can it creates interest among the readers. Okay, so let's start now. A small definition of short story. So short story is defined as a work of prose fiction shorter than short novel. So you keep in mind that shorter than short novel. So it's a very short story. So if it is a short story, then definitely it has a limited characters and time has to be managed. So, a work of prose fiction shorter than short novel, more restricted in characters and situations. A short story is usually concerned with not more than a few effects, problems, and themes. So, moreover, it is a kind of a work of prose. So, you take it running notes, dear. You write it a work of prose, short story, work of prose, and shorter than a short novel, limited characters, and definitely not more problems whatever we face in the novels. So when we read a novel, it might be a very big novel with lots and lots of themes, lots and lots of characters. So it is not under the short story. So it has only few effects. Whatever, if a story is, definitely the story deals about a particular theme, a particular characters. It might be a familial short story, it may be about a family or about a friendship or about love, about a relationship. It can be a experience also. So whatever the story, there will be the problem is life. We are facing lots and lots of problem in our daily life. So the same thing, even in the short story, that it is a story of some particular person or some particular characters. So definitely there will be, even there was a problem, it has, the writer has included some problem, it has a limited, the limited problems have been discussed, and they have a limited themes, a small themes, short themes, you can say that. So basically short story is final, a small definition is work of prose fiction, definitely shorter than novel, with a limited characters, few effects, even the small problems deal with very minor problems, and then minor themes, small themes are there. So that is a short story. It definitely, when we read a short story, it will end soon. It never goes in a long way. Next, it emphasizes human nature and human values. Time and characters are limited, but the place is not. So, limited play time and limited characters, but it is not mandatory that their short story might take place in the same place. The place might be changed, but within that time, within the limited characters, the stories will be finished off. Short story. Unlike the novel, the characters are not fully developed. No character analysis. Generally, a single aspect of character's personality undergoes a change or it revealed as a result of some incident, confrontation, and conflict or conflict. So, what this short story deals about? It has, unlike the novel, which has very long, many characters, more than 10 or 15 characters. So, but short story has only limited characters, and there is no analysis of a particular character, no reality in that. And then the person has undergoes many changes there. The personality may also change in that short story. The characters have different personality. There will be a hero and heroine is also there. Only limited character, that is father, mother, and one hero and one heroine, or else two friends are there, one servant will be there. Unlimited characters or limited personalities, and with limited incidents. Might they undergo only 2 or 3 incidents, but while we read the novel, lots and lots of incidents. War, there will be some war, there will be some fight, there will be um, some kind of parties, some kind of occasions. Many things might be taken place in the novels, but here only small incident or conflict is differences means might be they have a problematic situations between father and daughter, between father and son, and maybe husband and wife. There will be a limited differences. So short story is limited characters, no character analysis is there, the personalities also might be changed, and it has limited incident. And the conflicts, if the conflict arise, if the differences, if there is some kind of misunderstanding in the short story between the characters, it will end soon. Next, common features. So the features are added here just for pleasure. So we feel very pleasure in reading the short story. Because of limited length, there are generally no detailed description of background in the story. So definitely, see, with the name itself, we can assume whatever we are going to study in the short story, we have only limited background, only limited description. It is not in a detailed, it is non-detailed. Okay. Only single unified incident is mentioned. Only one incident. In the short story, within only one incident, the story will end off. Next, the conflicts, as I told, the problems, the situations, the differences between the characters. So, what are the conflicts may be? Might be in the short story. So, the conflicts. So there may be a problem or to talk about a subject matter. Conflict is also essential for other genres like plays, novels. So conflict means problem is everywhere. Say we talk about some subject matter, we have such kind of problem, such kind of um, differences between the relations, we have a little bit misunderstanding between the friends. So it happens, it is a life, and definitely there will be a conflict. If in the life, that it also be inculcated in the short stories also. So what are the conflicts we might get in the short story? We can mm, think of the conflicts in the short story. So that are types of conflicts. So what are the types of conflicts here? So between characters, between the character and the external forces, inner conflict. So external forces is the backbiting. Whoever comes into your contact may have some kind of misunderstanding between them. So inner conflict is we are going in the depression, we are having mood off, we are having some kind of conflicts which we unable to explore it out. We cannot able to explain what we are facing in our what we are facing inside. So that is the inner conflict. It may ends up in depression, it may ends up we can we have the sudden mood off. So that is an inner conflict. So this is the types of conflict. Next, origin. What will be the origin of the short stories? So some earlier types such as myth, legend, fairy tale, fable, essay, and the character study may be said to be the forefathers of the short story. So what kind of short story might be? So the root where it has been originated, it has some myth, some imagination, it may have some legend, some authorized persons, some leaders story. Fairy tale, fairy tale, there are we used to hear many fairy tales from our grandmas. Fairy tale means परियों की कहानी. Fable, essay, and the characters may be said to be the forefathers of the short story. Character Chaucer's Canterbury Tales and Boccaccio's Decameron are the two early examples for the short story. That is for tales. For the tales, it has been written in a form of myth. It has been written as a fable, as an essay. So it and all comes under the short story. The example for short story here is Boccaccio's Decameron are the two early examples. Basic elements of fiction. So what are the basic elements of fiction here? So the crisis, what we face, the moment of the conflict, then the develop begins and the tension of your expectation increases up to the climax. So the crisis means fall. So conflict means, I told you, the difference. So where the conflicts begins, definitely it will end into some kind of fall, and finally there will be a climax. It may be happy and it may be an unhappy climax. So what is climax now? The turning point in action, the point of highest interest or highest tension may occur at every end. So it may be happy ending or it may be unhappy ending. Finally, a happy ending means there will be some relations have gained their gained their you can say it as some relations have gained some happiness. That is, if you gain that, there will be some wedding bells, or if any highest tension means some may lost someone. That is, it might be a death in the climax. So that is unhappy end. Components of the short story. So what are the components of the short story? A fictional work in prose which puts the emphasis on human values by dealing with a single unified incident. So what are the components? What might be a short story? Whatever included in the short story, which emphasizes, which creates interest on the human values whenever we deal with that incident. So the number one is plot. The number two is characters, emotion, symbolism, theme, and point of view. I repeat, the components of short story: plot, characters, emotion, symbolism, theme, point of view. So it might be a 2-mark there. What are the components of short story? So you have to write plot, characters, emotion, symbolism, theme, and point of view. Okay, so you write it down, you note it down, components of short story as your 2-mark. We move to the next now. So what is plot? What is plot? A small definition of plot: chain of events and incidents that takes place in the short story. What are the events? Events may be happy events, some parties, some weddings, some engagements, and some kind of official meetings kind of events. And incidents, always might be some kind of accidents, some kind of misunderstanding, some kind of fighting. Okay, so takes place in the short story. Plot has two types of plots. It's there: overt plot and covert plot. So Not overt plot means not secret. It has been an open and only one incident follows the other chronologically. So no secret in that overt plot. Then in covert plot, it is not opened. Some incidents are implied or told indirectly by means of flashbacks and narrative projections in order to break through the monotony. So overt plot is, you keep it in your mind, no secret. Whatever happens, it will happen on the spot, and there is no cover up or cooked up stories. But in covert plot, it is not open. Some incidents will give indirect meaning by having some flashbacks. There might be a, you have watched many movies, or hero or heroine will think of their past memories, and they have some kind of flashbacks, and then with that they narrate some story. They tells that story, it happens at those times, we faced this, we had this. So that is the covert plot. So keep it in your mind, yes. Then flashback, that is an action told by a character, that is narrator. The character may be facing a dilemma, that is conflict, that is differences. So he recalls his past experience to explain the situation. So definitely, as I have already told you, flashback, whatever the character was thinking about the past, that I have faced this, so that of I have this kind of differences, I this kind of dilemma I entered for because of this past experience. I'm going, and he is explaining the situation. Long before I had this accident, I went there, that people saved me from that kind of situation. They take care of me. Now I'm here, and I'm telling the my past experience to you. So this kind of thing happens in the flashback. Even in the movies, the same thing in the short stories also. Narrative projection. A character may look forward to explain the conflict he is in. So, narrating the story, saying the story, that the characters come forward and he is explaining about the story of the characters. Balancing of forces. So, should be a conflict and their power must be equal. So, protagonist and antagonist. So, protagonist is a hero, main character, and antagonist may be a villain, that is, opposing forces or a person do not have to be good or have positive virtues. So, protagonist means hero, antagonist means villain. Okay. So, protagonist definitely main character in the story or even in the drama, having a good qualities, having a positive attitude, good nature. So, example here is Jan Valjean in The Miserable. So, wherever you came across, dears, we will have some kind of examples in the form of works written by the writers. So, here, in order to make you understand what is protagonist, definitely hero. You are watching many movies now, so definitely you find one main character. When with that you can understood that he is a hero. But with the literary forms, we are assuming that hero as protagonist. Literary word for hero is protagonist. Okay, and antagonist, villain. We used to say that villain, having all the negative attitude, no positive act, no positive values, everything what he did will be a end into despair and no hope, everything. So that is antagonist. Plot essential to reveal the character and the story, but it is not everything. So what it can reveal? So foreshadowing means maybe a hint about what will follow or what will happen next about the characters, the settings, or the general atmosphere of the story. So creating an atmosphere in a sense, the atmosphere may be a type of weather. It may be a hot season. Hot season means they are creating inside that the screen in such a way that the story takes place in the summer season or winter season. It has been given some kind of picture, that with that picture we can able to understand that it has been foreshadowed, that it has been set in such a way that the atmosphere of the story has been changed. A good atmosphere or bad atmosphere, all was put forth by the writer here. Precipitating incident, something minor happens at the beginning of the story that accelerates the events in the story. So whenever we have seen many movies that whenever the story starts, there was some minor beginning. It was definitely that beginning has some kind of continuation in the coming up story, that is in the events of the story. It has some relation. So for example, if there is a death, at the beginning of the story, definitely there will be some character, some hero, that is protagonist, will use that death as a kind of revenge in the coming stories. Setting, place plus time plus state of mind. So what will be the setting of the short story? Definitely place should be clear, time management, and the state of mind. How the state of mind? A peaceful state of mind. In medias res, where the plot starts in the middle. Characters. What are the characters introduced? How the characters involved in the short story? Character creation is more complex than creating a plot from the action. From the words of the character, we can understand and define him. So, we can understand with the character itself whether it has some complex plot or an easy plot. That is, with the characters, with how the character plays, we can understand and define whether he or she a protagonist or antagonist. Okay, a character must be the one according to the community, so difficult because infinite variety of human personality. So according to the community, it is definitely a difficult task to define the human personality. So according to the creation of the writer, we can understood what are the characters have been created in the short story. So three important qualities for the good characterization in the short stories. What are the qualities should be in the character present in the short story? So consistency, plausibility, motivation. Consistency means the person should not change. The person should not change unless there is a reason for it. Sometimes he may be an inconsistent one as well. So, in the short story, definitely a hero can turn into a villain in order to take revenge. He was changing his personality there. Plausibility. So you might have seen in many movies. So a police officer changing his identity and going in the group of villains and finding out the culprit there in order to take revenge, in order to save the nation. So that's plausibility. The lifelines of the character. The reader should accept the character as a human being, people from everyday life. So it is a duty of a reader, or it is a mindset of a reader. A reader should accept that the character as a human being wherever we read that short story. Motivation, the cause for the character to act, necessary for the characters and also for the readers. So how the short story should be? It should have some motivation so that the reader has interest in reading that short story. The characters in the short story are generally dramatized, not described. It is a dramatized characters. It has no reality. Dramatically, the writer has paint the characters in such a way that with their appearance, with the physical description. So we'll see that. The writer paints a picture of physical appearance of the character, the possession, physical description, immediate surroundings, or the factors. So definitely the ways of dramatizing the character. So short story is not a reality. It has been written by the writer in such a way that in order to create the interest among the readers. Whenever all the things have been a painted picture of the writer has produced the particular character as a hero. In the next short story it can be a villain also. So depends upon the writer's mentality, the characters have their appearances. The setting can help the reader to understand the mood of the character. So settings, they help the reader. So whenever if we read with the picture itself, we can able to understand that now the season has been changed. In the summer season this takes place, in the winter season again they met again, in the autumn season they again separated. So there are all the certain things, the settings, which helps the reader to understand the situation. Their speech and dialogues also a kind of interesting criteria in the short story. So how they speak, and what are the dialogues which creates interest among the readers. Opinion of others in the short story may give an idea about the character. So definitely, if while we are reading in the short story, we can might came across two or three or four or five characters, limited characters. So if one character is talking about the next character, so you can understood that what type of character the person is, might be a good character or a bad quality person. Given extra information about the characters, acts and attitude. So definitely while you read you can able to understand what the person is, the what the character he is performing in this short story. The writer goes directly into the mind of the character and explain the inner thoughts of him. So it is totally depend upon the writer, whatever the writer have given a mindset the character. So whatever the mindset, whatever the characters, whatever the thoughts of characters, everything was did by the writer. So the main thing here is you keep it in your mind. Yes, short story is not a reality. It has some dramatized character in such a way that the writer taking a full strength, a full freedom of molding the characters according to his or her own way. The own written work of writer which creates interest among the readers with the limited characters, the limited time, with the limited incidents is the short story. Characterization by narration. The writer tells us something about the character at the very beginning, and to illustrate it, he may tell an incident related to that quality, but this is a rare method. A writer might use several methods of characterizations, or no only one method may be used. All the characters don't have to be developed fully. So, characterization by narration is the writer tells about the story of the character, tells about something regarding the characters in the very beginning, and definitely it explains about the incident which qualifies. So, if it is a hero, definitely the writer will write something in such a way that very brave soldier, very brave man, generous man, kind man, polite man. So with that, when you read that word, when you read that thing, you might know very well in your mindset that the particular uh, person, that the particular character is a brave soldier, that you have a good mindset regarding that character. So it is a part of narrative part of writer. Definitely the writer has the full freedom. The writer tells about some character at the beginning and which able to relate in such that we knows about the quality while we read that short story. Kinds of character: round character, flat character, stock or literary character. So kinds of chars: major characters. What are the major characters and minor characters? So it has been differentiated, it has been distinguished into two major parts. Major character is definitely hero, protagonist, and definitely villain, antagonist. The round characters may be heroine or some mother or some servant may also play an important role, some supporter, some assistant. Okay. Minor characters are flat characters and literary characters and foil characters. Kinds of characters: dynamic, static character. So dynamic character has definitely positive change in the character, should not end as he started. Change in the behaviors, opinions, attitude is necessary. Dynamic means a good character, a good charactered person in the short story. Static character, if the character remains the same throughout the story, he is called a static character. Protagonist is the most dynamic character here. So when while we read a short story, the character should not change the thoughts in order to be a dynamic character. So how we can understood that the particular character is dynamic, that the particular character is static means the positive attitude is a dynamic character. So the static character, the positive attitude should not be changed as negative at the throughout the story. Until the story ends, the protagonist should be a protagonist. It cannot be changed into antagonist. So that is a static character. So kinds of character: foil character, that is at the contrasting figure, opposing characters. Foils may be minor characters used to emphasize the quality of the major characters. So minor character here means if it is a protagonist, definitely he or she might have some friends. That is minor character which they used to laugh as, they make us to laugh with the hero. So archetypal characters, prototype characters who have universal characteristic regardless of time and place, can be found in every theme story. That is femme fatal. So some fate will be there. So who can used to say that you are going to be like this in your future. Some kind of story will be said by some persons with the help of some kind of figures. Using figures, they used to say that with this you are going to be like this in your future. So confident confidente is the person with whom the protagonist talks and to whom he reveals his secret. It might be a mother, a nurse, a friend, maybe confident. So definitely a short story also have some confidential characters. A hero can talks to his mother or his father or a kind of nurse, or a friend will be there whom he can share a lot and lot of things, all the secrets to them. So it is confidential. So emotions, you may know what is emotion. Fiction makes us understand and feel. So emotion is important, but not only the emotions of the character, but the reader's emotion as well. The non-fictional works like biographies, travel literatures, articles, and essays, any prose work that is not fiction, make us only understand. So fiction kind of short story which makes us understand about the emotions. It may filled up with emotion, that the particular characters have some kind of emotion which creates the emotional feelings among the readers. So while we read the short story, if the characters have some kind of emotions in them, definitely we used to feel that, oh, this character has faces a lot and lot of thing in the life. So might we have some kind of short soft corner for that characters. How are emotions conveyed? Not told directly. We learned about them through the actions, namely in an indirect way, in connection with the emotions, the tone, and the mood of the story also given. So, how the emotions are conveyed in the short story. It has been not told. When we came to know about with the actions, the indirect way in the short story, there are many that I have already told you. The minor characters are in the short story, which helps to when we read that short story, we can able to know that the particular person has the positive attitude. Though protagonist itself, the hero itself can't explain his quality, the heroine itself cannot express her quality, that I'm a good woman, I'm a good person. So it was told as in an indirect way. The writer has included many minor characters which makes us to understand about the protagonist, about the antagonist. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you understood, dear. So with this definition, with a small recap, I'll end my class today. So this short story, so you keep it in your mind, what is short story. So short story all is a work of a writer in order to create interest among the readers. So while we read a short story, definitely we used to have we have some kind of emotions will create interest. We used to involve in that short story while we read, some kind of imagination running in your mind in the background. We used to connect that particular characters with others. So this is the short story. It is an imaginative part, totally a fictional work of writer written in order to impress the readers. So there are many things involved, that is plot is there, the plot is there, the character is there, theme is there, incidents are there. So whatever that may be, it will end within the time. So very limited characters with a limited time, with a minor incidents, the short story will start in the beginning and it ends soon. It may have happy ending, it may have unhappy ending. Happy ending may be a wedding bells, unhappy endings may be some kind of death in the short story. So that's it for today. Hope you understood. So if you have not understood something, if you have any problem regarding this video lecture, so feel free to put in the comment section. So whenever you listen my video lecture, please write the feedback in the comment section itself, so it find me easy that how you people get my class. Okay, so waiting for your feedback. So till that, stay safe, stay blessed. See you tomorrow inshallah. Allah Hafiz. Bye dears.